is up, everybody? Welcome to the second episode of Talking Dogs podcast. Um, this one's gonna be solo, man. I'm just on here, and I'm gonna see if I can entertain y'all for a while. My podcast talk. Um, Shout out to Kurt. Kurt, I haven't forgot about you, man. My schedule is so backwards, dude. It is 3 o'clock in the morning right now, so I have a really hard time. Uh, Even if I do find somebody that wants to do the podcast, I have a hard time getting it scheduled because it really takes a lot out of what time I do have in the day to get things done to actually sit down and do YouTube. And I have like my life going on, I got like the kids and just house rowdy, the whole thing. So I get my podcast and my YouTube done, middle of the night after work. It's the weekend. Sunday, had a great weekend. We went out, celebrated my daughter's birthday, um, went to the pool, did some stuff. So I was pretty busy all day, went to the movies. But I had to get a video out. So, what is a better idea than episode 2 of Talking Dogs podcast? So, first things first, I want to tell you guys, please go to Dogtra.com. And if you purchase anything from Dogtra, a unit $200 or more or anything like that, use the promo code Mailbrook5. That will get you 5% off. Some of you guys have already used that. And how that works is I'm affiliated. I'm not affiliated technically with Dogtra, but they have allowed me to push their products. So any um, time that somebody uses my promo code, they do give me a little bit of a kickback here to the channel. Now, it's nothing fancy. I'm not getting rich. I'm not nothing like that. Anything of the sort. It's just kind of like you guys get the promo code, get the 5% off, and I get a little bit of change. Throw it back in my pocket for helping Dogtra out. But Dogtra is a phenomenal product, and I'd highly recommend it to any and every person. And I would highly recommend it for people that are just starting out. It is a very simple to use product, and it is very easy and intuitive product. Like if your 5-year-old uses a cell phone, they could probably use the Dogtra app. It is really that simple, man. Um, but so, man, like the podcast talk, what can we talk about here on the podcast that I haven't kind of already covered over the channel? Okay, so like for starters, here's like my name's Rob. All right, so if I haven't, you guys haven't seen a video with that, introducing myself. My name's Rob. My YouTube channel is Melbrook Studios and Entertainment, and I kind of got put on that name because prior to doing the dog content, I was trying to kind of mess around on YouTube and get a feel for what I have the knack for. And just randomly one night after work, I go, I think I want to talk about training a coon dog. I haven't seen too many videos that are kind of in depth, and that's how my content has got to where it's at now. But I still have the name left over from my previous content. And what ended up having to happen for me to get the deal, like get the thing set up with Dogtra, is I had to have 90% of the content on my channel be dog related or talking about dogs, dog specific kind of stuff. And at that time, it was like 99% not dog related stuff. So I had to delete all of those videos that I had up. I had a little bit of a follower base, maybe 100 or something like that I had picked up over the course of a couple years. And then once I started doing the sitting down and talking about training dogs and stuff like that, my channel kind of took off from there and grew from there. And I am number one, I'm completely grateful to each and every one of you guys for coming in and subscribing to the content. So if you're just getting here, please check the channel out. Get down there and hit some likes and some comments. Subscribes help the most. That really keeps the channel driving forward and keeps me on track to keep on putting videos out. And I kind of get into this mindset of I want to bring a lot of different things to the YouTube channel, but my best content tends to be the sitting down, talking back and forth, or talking specifics on dogs and giving my opinions and my methodology behind and the reasoning behind why I think the way that I do about the things that I do when I'm training dogs. That tends to be my best content that you guys enjoy and interact with and stick around for. The squirrel hunting stuff, I need that to. That's been kind of backburnered because of Tilly's age. I kind of put the traveling down to Tennessee and picking her up together because I thought it would be a really good chance to try my hand at some little bit different editing techniques for my videos and stuff like that, which it turned out great. I didn't get as much footage as I really wanted to do, and when you have a trip like that where you're spending all this time in the vehicle and you're traveling across country, you end up being so exhausted from the trip. It's like, man, do I really want to turn around and drive back the 15 miles and get that extra shot? Which that's on me, but I think you guys enjoyed that video. I enjoyed making the video. Didn't have not got as much content on Tilly out on the channel as I really want to. But then at the end of the day, I don't want to sit here and I don't want to just shove a dog in your guys' face that is doing the same thing. And we all know how it goes. It's ups and it's downs, and it's ups and it's downs. Or they're just staying at this little plateau and they got like a month before they hit that age and they're going to go, they're going to click that next step in the process. So far, up until this point, especially with her, I haven't done too much. Like, I honestly have not done too much with her. I showed her 2 cages. She got on both of them. She did not bark at them on the tree, so she's had no tree work, which really puts a damper on, other than what you guys seen in the couple videos that I put up of trying to get her to go. But nothing really fancy coming out of her yet for the tree-mindedness kind of stuff. But that comes with age, and I fully expect that to turn on very soon. I mean, maybe within the next month or so. But that's kind of the extent of that. What I've done and like the little scent drag work and things that I've done for her there, which is just like roughhousing with the drag, which I quit that after I showed cages and seeing that she was going to go for the cages. And then I got down a couple squirrels to her, which she really took to those. You guys seen those. So pretty much anything that has been kind of like up there, kind of like a milestone, something that I feel is actually really key and really important to furthering on a dog. I have tried my hardest to get it captured on video and posted it up here. Here of late, over the past week or so, I have been trying to get out to the parks and get her to sight chase a few. Where she's at with that is hit or miss, right? Because she's kind of in that wonky stage. She wants to chase the squirrels, but once they go up the tree, she doesn't know where they went, right? Because a lot of times the squirrel will go past and go up the backside of the tree while the dog's coming this way, and she just blows past it and goes like on the backside, just looking around, kind of like where's it at? Which I'm gonna keep on doing that. And at the point of one goes up the tree and just sits on the side where she can clearly see it, I may just let her watch a couple run up the tree, and then cut her after that. That way she knows they're in the tree before I cut her. I'm just going to be trying a little bit of different things, but I'm not worried about messing up too much stuff. Just getting her out there, getting her time, getting her sight chasing, really familiarizing her with, the squirrel scene. I was thinking, because I have the squirrel in the freezer that I got during season, and I froze it specifically for off season because we're out of training season right now, so I can't train right now technically in the woods. But I have a squirrel in the freezer, and I've been kind of pondering and floating the idea back and forth in my head to myself. Keep taking her and letting her sight chase, get the dead squirrel out and work her at the house and put her through the process of kind of trying to leverage her and give her a little bit of a leap forward on the treeing by leashing her up and just kind of forcing that issue to where you're gonna bark or spend the time trying to get her to just naturally do it on her own. But I think there's a lot of kind of processes that are clicking in and out and back and forth, especially for her at her age. So it's kind of just like a balance game. So you squirrel hunter guys, don't give up on me yet, man, and don't count me out. I know I'm new to the squirrel hunting stuff and new to the squirrel dog and stuff. But for the most part, it seems pretty straightforward. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. I don't want to jinx myself in that situation. I haven't sent her papers off yet, which I'm going to get around to doing that. I just have that old bad habit of I don't send the papers off until the dog hunts because I have used to, purchase dogs and start them and sell them that way. I used to, just keep the high hopes of I'm not going to go through put the minimum amount of monetary effort into the dog that I possibly can before I actually see something that I really want, and then I'll go ahead and spend the money and get the paper sent off. Which that's a bad habit to break. I'm grown now. I don't have to really pilfer around or sell something to do something anymore. At work, and but it's just one of them bad habits that linger, and I know you guys have it too. So don't just put it all on me like I'm the only one that has the bad habit of not sending papers off. Another thing too, it's kind of like I've never dealt with NKC anything. I'm sure it's completely, just run of your mill type of paperwork stuff. One thing that kind of I was looking at the paperwork and having to handwrite everything. Just gonna say it right now. I can't even read my own handwriting half the time. You guys have literally seen it on the channel in videos where I'm trying to read my notes. I'm like, I literally can't even read what I wrote. So I always have that in the back of my mind. Like, okay, I have horrendous handwriting. I'm going to mess something up. I'm going to misspell something, which, I'm not going to be shy about that either. I'm not the greatest at spelling. I never really cared for English in school. So it's just like one of those things where you just get caught and like, well, we got time, we got time. I did want to have her papers sent off and back in time for this next squirrel hunt because I did plan on taking her out there. But I don't know how this is going to shake out because she's not really old enough. And I don't want to, put her in a cast and just have her, walk around close by us the whole entire time. And then, just kind of be like a stepping stone up for the rest of the cast, which I don't care. I think that if I'm going to do anything in the competition hunting world with any dog of any breed at any level, I want to earn my stripes, and I want to earn my stripes the right way, and I definitely don't want to, ruffle feathers or cause issues, and for the most part, man, I always was super super hard on myself when I did my coon dogs. If my coon dogs did not perform at a elite level, what I think is an elite level or something that is actually truly worth, paying attention to, having a show, looking at, and getting out and being like, dang, that dog's a pretty good dog. Then I never really cared to bother putting them in the comp hunts. And I had one dog that I was really, really, really close on pushing into the comp hunts. Never really happened. Cash, I bought him kind of solely for the purpose of letting my kids take him and put him in hunts and handle him and getting them into the sport. That kind of crushed itself. It is almost impossible to get any type of good coon hunting done when you work third shift. It's just that much more of a process. I was getting out of work and then I was driving, like 45 minutes to state land that was big enough for him that actually, he wasn't getting off into trouble. And it just turned into one of those things to where it was like the dog was at the house and put up way, way more than he ever got put in the woods. And I just can't stand that. I really can't stand that. I think one of the worst things that you can do to a dog that hunts is not hunt them. And that just is, it's like torture to a dog that hunts, in my opinion. That's why I always kind of second guess myself, like, okay, am I really committed to doing this right now? Me being out of the woods with Cash, I got him to the woods as much as I possibly could. Extenuating circumstances, schedules, and, my schedule conflicting with my old lady's schedule, and, like the boys, my kids. I got him specifically for the kids to go. My oldest, he's the one that really got me going, and went ahead and followed through with it. He really wanted one, and I got it. And it was one of those situations to where once he once he figured out it wasn't overnight, or it wasn't a 5 minute thing, and this dog is doing what it's supposed to be doing, um, he just kind of didn't want to be in it anymore. And I made him go a couple times, probably shouldn't have. But it's like, and I try to instill in him, you have to go when he don't hunt, because it makes it that much better when he does. And there's a lot of work that goes into training dogs, and a lot of time, especially something so specific as training coon dogs. Um, Coon dogs are assassins, man. I think, they're hitmen. That's what they are. That's what they do. When you ever watched the movie Hitman, he trained his whole entire childhood to be a assassin and be the best at it. And there was hours and hours and hours and hours of effort put into training him to be the best. Okay, it's the same idea as the coon dogs, but we're training them to go out here and just be a sniper system, um, for just slaying coons, man. And it's just like, when you put so much time and effort into something and then it pays off, it's the best thing possible. I know there's a lot of things that you cannot, you can't expect, and a lot of things that you can't get ahead of yourself on, and a lot of things that you can try to avoid, but it's never going to happen. The one thing that you're never going to avoid in training coonhounds is the amount of work and the amount of effort that goes into doing it. And every once in a while, you'll catch a dog that gives you one great break, right? It gives you a super easy time, and you go, huh, I can dig it, man. I can do this. This dog's great. Um, and it makes it look easy, but at the end of the day, that's not the reality of the situation. And it's real easy, man, to sit around and look at these dogs. Look at these dogs that are great dogs, right? They are great dogs. They've already been established. They're already however old. They've already been trained and handled and put through the works, and carved out the name for yourself, and then you put the camera on them, and it's a spectacle. It's something to watch. Um, but when you go the opposite way, there's not a whole lot of content there for just sitting and looking at a dog that doesn't do anything really yet. And it just comes at a cost of not being a lot of information out there in the coonhound world, and it comes at the cost of not a lot of people wanting to share information, because a lot of people who are training coon dogs for the first time, or they've been in the sport. One thing that I found to be super common in the coonhound world is people just buy dogs that are already doing it, and then they hunt them, and they get this whole idea about them that they know everything about a dog, because they've hunted a dog that was already doing it. You didn't really have to do anything for that dog. You kind of just fell in a secret little crack of conveniency there in that sense. Now, a lot of guys also, on the same hand, on the flip hand of that, we get a hold of a dog that is going, but maybe it's not going the greatest. Maybe it's got a lot of little quirks or little issues in it. And you put the time in, you put the effort in to polish that dog up, and get it to kind of, be what it should have been a long time ago. And some of these guys, they can know what they're talking about a lot. I think there's like a huge misconception, and there's a huge visual representation that isn't represented. There's nothing there for us to kind of look at and go, all right, that really makes sense in the coonhound world. Like one thing that we don't understand a lot of the times is that handlers, people who put dogs in compounds, the people who handle them, they're not always um, people that even know how to train dogs. They might know how to handle dogs, but they don't know how to train them so much. So we're passing, the gauntlet over to them. And then, obviously, when we're out to wherever, we want to ask the questions to the people that we see having the dogs, but they might not be that great or have that much information specifically about training dogs. They might be a phenomenal handler. Now, I'm not knocking handlers in any sense of the way. That is a full task. It's a full job. You have to put in work to be a good handler too, and that's kind of, that's another misconception that I think people get. You get in the forums on, Google, or you get into the Facebook groups. If you have to really put your gauge on it, I'll just say, probably just guessing, over the past 6 months of having coon hunting stuff pop on my Facebook feed from different coon hunter groups and things like that, I kind of have not seen but maybe five, probably about four. I would say four solid people that have posted dogs of a really young age really doing a lot. So that's a huge thing there too. And you can definitely up your chances and up your percentage rate on getting a hold of a dog that is actually going to do something that is, at an early rate or at an early percentage, because breeding, right? We have to know our breeding. We have to know our lineage. I'm not going to say specific names, but I know a specific channel that constantly posted videos, and it is world champion bred pup, right? Okay, so world champion bred is definitely something that you want to look at. I have seen quite a few pedigrees. I seen one pedigree and I was astonished at it. Every single dog on that pedigree, I believe it was a 3 or 4 generation pedigree, was a Grand Night champion. Every dog on the entire sheet of paperwork, and that was this dog's paperwork, and they were breeding it to another dog that every single dog on that dog's paperwork was a Grand Night champion. So you have two dogs that every ancestor that they have got together were Grand Night champions and being bred together. The expectations out of that litter of puppies had to be through the absolute roof. Every litter prior and previous before that. And that is a lot of diligence. That is let's just say we put a 4-year career on every dog. Some people go longer, some people go shorter. I'm just going to say 4 years just to be, playing the advocate here. 4 years on a 4-generation pedigree. And that is how many dogs over, if we're calling it 4 years, over a 20-year process. So you're talking about multitudes of dogs over a course of 20 years each. So a total of 40 years of breeding and compounding dogs to combine one breeding, right? Just to get to this point on the pedigree. So it does matter. One thing that people kind of like to do is go out and just get a pup off of a really big name dog. I'm guilty of it with Tilly. Although, in my defense, I had not the slightest idea in the world who Pissed Off Pig was when I bought Tilly. I had no idea. It was after I had gotten her that I had found the information. It was like, because there was a few days span there after I had talked to the guy and got it figured out. And then on the way, prior to the trip down there, then I kind of figured out, oh, this is actually a pretty really good breeding out of a big name dog and a really good, stock of well-known feist dogs. And it kind of clicked a little bit to me there. And even still yet, I haven't fully clicked how actually a big name dog that, pissed off pig is. And a lot of people will say this, and I've heard it, I've already heard it, and I've heard it from a multitude of people. It's just handling. It's just handling. Well, I'm here to tell you that I don't care who you are, you cannot make a dog tree more squirrels than somebody else. You cannot make a dog hunt and get under more trees than another dog. You can't do it. So you can say what you want about the handler, but that dog put in work. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that dog put in the work. If the dog wasn't working hard, there would be no way for the handler to work hard. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to put that out there. Probably not to any of you guys. That's not relevant to none of you guys because I didn't hear it from anybody on the channel or anything like that. Just kind of out in the ether. But, that's my opinion on it. I don't kind of know where I started or ended with that whole little loop there. I'm sorry for that. But I believe I was kind of talking about the disconnect between, handlers and trainers. They're usually two different people. Some people really have it put together well to where they're really good handling and really good at training. But then you have the breeders as well, okay? So our breeding, our training, and our handling, they all kind of go hand in hand because our breeding is going to affect our training is going to affect our handling. And they're kind of all chained together in that circle of things. That's why on the channel I recommend getting a hold of people and talking to people that have actually bred a line of dogs, right? That actually have their own line, their own blood, a kennel that they have built or have sustained for lots of years, or were in close proximity. Maybe the guy passed away and now they have it, or something like that, right? This is what we want to get good information about our bloods and our lines of dogs and our different things of dogs is from the actual breeders. Training advice we want to get from people who actually train. Handling advice we want to get from people that actually handle. And I think I'm trying to get in a roundabout way to just kind of point out how easy it is to kind of ruin your dog. You can ruin your own dog by just listening to everything somebody says that doesn't have a clue what they said. And it's happened, or taking bad advice. Some people do know what they're talking about, but they don't know what they're talking about for your situation. Because I've said this, is everybody's different. We can kind of get in a generals here and let people make their own decisions and their own choices. But I mean, I've had it happen to me before. You get, bad advice, and then you apply it, and then the situation's twice as worse. So we want to avoid that at all costs. I know I'm preaching to the choir here. I'm sitting on YouTube, trying to make a YouTube channel and a community here, talking about training dogs and telling you guys don't listen to people. But I think at the end of the day, everybody has enough logic and enough, sense in their head that they can kind of sift through and figure out who has good information and who don't have good information. I'm just going to pour myself a drink here, guys. And with the information being out there and floating around, it kind of gains traction on its own, and word of mouth and things like that. I've had people, shout me out on Facebook groups and say that I'm really good at what I'm trying to do and things like that, which I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I don't have a chip on my shoulder about anything. I don't have any kind of ego in this. I'm just kind of out here doing what I like to do and doing what works for me. Coon hunting has been a major part in the building of my character. Um, that's the easiest way that I can explain it. People, would question, oh, all he wants to do is talk about dogs all the time. Or, I don't, why do you care about a dog so much? Um, you know, like I've said on the channel before, some of my first memories as a child was coon hunting with, my grandfather and, being around dogs and people who had coon dogs and hunting and stuff like that. And, even my grandmother was really into coon hunting, and her and my grandpa would coon hunt together. And I remember going hunting with them both, and my uncles, my grandpa's brothers and things like that, and getting out in the woods with dogs, and then going with my cousins, and it's a really good time to get out in the woods and have good family time. It really turns into a sour thing when you don't have anybody to go with, and it turns into a sport that kind of loses the feeling of being a good feeling. I quit hunting with anybody. I quit hunting with anybody when I was probably about 17 or 18 years old. And that's various reasons. Don't really want to get into any of that and plug you guys with whatever. But I really started hunting completely on my own, with nobody with me when I was probably about 17 or 18 years old, and I've hunted completely solo by myself, other than my own kids, for the longest time. I think in probably the past 10 years, which I didn't own dogs for quite a while in that span, I've only hunted with another person one time, um, other than my own kids, and hunting by myself. But, hunting and training are kind of two different things. So I can get in the woods with somebody and help them kind of, coax a dog around and train on their dog a little bit. It's not hunting, it's training. So you have to have a good kind of cut in, cut out on that. But, you always think that you come across somebody that you think that, oh, I can actually hunt with these people, and you get in the woods with them for a little while, and you just go, do I really want to keep hunting with this person just because I have nobody else to? And it could be just me. It could be just me, right? I don't know what it is, you guys. I tend to just keep my mouth shut in the woods a lot. I don't chatterbox a lot. If you're in the woods with buddies and you have a dog that isn't doing it yet, why are you talking? Don't talk. Don't talk. You got to be able to listen, man. My grandfather used to tell me, and all my brothers and sisters and everything, cousins, rather, you got to listen to learn and learn to listen, right? And that is probably the best advice I ever got in my entire life. I've applied that very thoroughly throughout my life, and I think I've learned a great deal. So when we're in the woods, we need to listen. Listening is the most important thing when we're hunting dogs. And obviously that just kind of shows for itself, kind of the whole entire thing of comp hunting is being able to call your dog. So even on the big ticketed side of things, you have to know when to talk and when not to talk. There's just a lot of different things, man. I like to keep my mouth shut in the woods, and I think it makes a lot of people kind of go, this guy doesn't care for me very much, or this guy don't really want to be out here right now. No, what I want you to do is just hush up for 5 minutes. I'll listen to these dogs. I'm really bad for that. I just want to hear the dogs run, man. That's what it's all about, man. And I think hunting by myself, solo for so many years, that's the only company you get in the woods when you're hunting solo is the dog running. So listening to the dog's the only company you got, man. I remember back when I first started hunting solo, I would get out to these places and I'd cut my dog by myself. I was just a young kid and I'd be in the woods by myself. I had no type of electronics, no type of way to get my dogs back. And I would be sitting out there, and a lot of times I had a crap light, or maybe I didn't even bring a light, or I'd have a light that I never turned on. Just sit in the dark a lot because I didn't have a good battery life. So you just be sitting in the woods in the pitch black, and you're just sitting there waiting for your dog to go off to be, hey, I'm not alone, not alone out here, and or you hear things in the woods, and everybody knows how it goes, man. The woods can be a pretty scary place at night. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. The woods can be pretty scary at night all by yourself. And we can act tough and act like that don't happen to us or whatever we want to do, but it's a tough world out there, man. There's a lot of stories that we could get into, and maybe that's something that I'll start doing when we're doing the solo podcast thing. Um, Again, my schedule is so wonky. About the only person that I even know that I could even have on the podcast on any type of basis would be my cousin Bug. But even yet, he don't really care to do it too much. I got the one episode out, which is phenomenal. I really expected to be able to just start knocking them out after that. I thought Boog was on page with me with that, and but it just kind of didn't fall into place right with that either. I've asked him about 4 or 5 different times now, 6 times to do another podcast, and he just, I ain't got time right now, or I'm doing this, or I'm watching TV, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I have to move forward with my content. I have to move forward with my YouTube channel, and I'm not going to wait around. Um, and I don't mean that meanly or anything like that. I just mean it as got to keep it rolling. There's been plenty of times on the channel that I have mentioned, things in the YouTube channel that I'm like, or on the video where I go, I'm thinking about trying this, or I'm thinking about trying that, or I'm thinking about getting this rolling or getting that rolling, and it just doesn't happen. It's kind of just like I don't want to have to, put the time into going out of my way and making a video and putting it out and it just bombs or it doesn't do well. So the sitting down talking with the little videos about training and doing things like that tend to do a lot better. I've kind of been put right into that vacuum, which I don't mind at all. Don't mind at all. I got my nice little kitchen studio. These are my kitchen cabinets. That's my microwave, my counters, and this is all my coon hunting and hunting stuff that I can kind of throw up there and make look anyway half decent. This picture right here, I painted this picture. Let me see. Or actually, no, I'm sorry. I believe my old lady or her sister painted that one. But it just kind of gets in the shot, trying to get the camera angle right, which I've did a lot of work trying to do that. And I have a lamp that I run right here. I have a ring light behind the camera there. And I have a light right above me here. So out of my whole space, my whole house, this is about the best spot that I could carve out and have any type of, resemblance to a YouTube channel. But what can you do, So the pod is coming up on about 40 minutes here. I think since this is a solo one, I will go ahead and I'll wrap it right there. I'm going to get together a list of shout outs and do another shout out video. If you guys have made it this far, get down there, hit a like and a subscribe for me. Please leave comments. Email me, melbrookstudios@gmail.com, all lowercase. I would greatly appreciate it, and I'll get back to you. Another thing here, the giveaway winner, I put it in the I put it in the handling video that I did with Tilly, the bench training that I did with her. I put it in that video. You got to check that video out and watch that and get a hold of me, man. But y'all have fun. Y'all keep them treed. You're awesome, and I appreciate every last one of you. Thanks for tuning in to episode 2 of Talking Dogs Podcast.